The DCC allegedly has ignored pesticide warnings, former staffer alleges. So, this is juicy. A former Department of Cannabis Control official sued the California agency this week, alleging she was retaliated against and fired after raising concerns about pesticide-contaminated products and other regulatory breaches. Former DCC Deputy Director of Lab Services Tanisha Bogans alleges she was sidelined and then terminated after DCC Director Nicole Elliott repeatedly failed to act on whistleblower complaints about potency inflation and banned pesticides. The complaint also alleges that the agency has received warnings about the presence of fentanyl in licensed products. The DCC was not able to comment on the lawsuit today. Government agencies seldom comment on pending lawsuits. And this goes on to say rampant regulatory issues. Let's see what that's about. In June 2023, DCC Director Nicole Elliott received an email from Needles-based San Bernardino Co-Lab U.S. Cannabis Laboratories, quote, expressing concerns about pressure from growers to falsify test results, unquote, the complaint alleges. The lab had tested product off the shelf and found potency inflation to be widespread. A month later, Bogans, who says she was not yet aware of the U.S. cannabis complaint, received another potency inflation complaint from San Diego-based Infinite Chemical Analysis and soon raised the issue, quote, citing that the DCC's failure to properly regulate testing is causing labs to cheat. In October, Bogan said she received a document from the California Cannabis Industry Association expressing concerns that pressures on labs to inflate potency was undermining consumer trust in the licensed industry. She also heard from another lab, Pacific Star, which claimed ethical labs had been pushed out of the market. Bogan said she forwarded the Pacific Star email to Nicole Elliott and Chief Deputy Director Rasha Salama, her direct manager. In response, she alleges she faced, quote, hostility and accusations from Elliott. Soon after, according to the complaint, Elliott heard from another lab, Adresco, which brought up potency inflation, and that it had found a banned pesticide in a shelf-bought product. In November 2023, around when a performance evaluation determined she was exceeding expectations, Bogans alleged she received more reports of banned pesticides and, quote, several anonymous tips regarding fentanyl in products. Okay. Bogans alleges that she reported these issues to both Elliott and Salama. After weeks without any action, the complaint says Bogans contacted law enforcement, which referred her to the Department of Justice. The agency offered to provide free testing, according to the complaint. After telling Salama about the conversation with the Department of Justice, the complainant was severely reprimanded and excluded from any further conversations regarding fentanyl and other key meetings. Bogans, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, alleges the intentional exclusion was due to the DCC's resistance to the public's efforts to address rampant regulatory issues in the California market. In 2023, the complaint alleges Bogans heard from a private whistleblower that a distributor had been growing and manufacturing without a license. The situation was particularly serious, the complaint alleges, because the company's principal was an elected official. The company, the complaint alleges, also served as an intermediary between growers and testers, promoting favoritism and corruption. The complaint says Bogans escalated the matter and asked about pursuing criminal charges by contacting the Justice Department or FBI. After receiving no response about pesticides, which she apparently allegedly made a statement on, Bogan said she brought it up again in January, requesting contact information for several state agencies. The next day, DCC Director Elliott told Bogans she was fired. DCC has issued several product recalls this year. Today, it issued its first recall for the presence of banned pesticide, help me Lord, paclobutrazol. All right. I don't know about you guys, but these are some pretty wild accusations, but they don't surprise me in the least. It's clear that banned pesticides are getting onto store shelves. It's clear that recalls are not being issued swiftly enough or widespread enough, so I'm really not surprised. But some of this stuff about a, quote, elected official being involved in a trap grow, I don't know, that's pretty juicy. What do you guys think about this?
There's some wild allegations, and we shall see.
Did they mention what elected official?
They did not name them in this article. It just said the distributor's phone number and email were not operational. The local official in question wasn't able to comment immediately. Not sure why Alex left it out of the article. Maybe he was concerned about, talking shit.
I feel like when they leave those kind of points out, it's just there is no credibility. It's a baseless allegation. The same thing with this anonymous tip line with the fentanyl, whatnot. That sounds like total BS.
Yeah,
dude.
that I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm not so sure about. But the pesticides for sure.
Mm-hmm. I can see kids at home just trolling the DCC, like, oh yeah, this company has fentanyl in there, da 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 da, and just it's all just sending them down rabbit holes.
Well, here's the problem when we're not controlling the regulated market the way that it should be controlled, and we're allowing adulterated product to come in from outside of the regulated market, is who the fuck knows, right? Because I know that trap growers don't care. I know that, there's some amazing trap growers. Shout out to trap weed forever. But we also can't control it if things are not going through the system the way they're intended to. I mean, I received a recall from the DCC yesterday for Classics hash dog walkers, and it was sold on or after January 25th of this year. Let me tell you what happens if something's been in my store since January 25th. It's not there anymore. Let me tell you as a consumer what happens if I bought a 5-pack of dog walkers January 25th. I smoked them by January 28th. So this is not something that is surprising to me at all. It's not surprising there's a government official involved with a distributor that is doing the wrong things. And I'm not surprised that they didn't name the name. I don't think that takes away any credibility from that point for me, because I don't want to get shot at by somebody who might be in my same jurisdiction, who might be able to control and pull strings on my own license. So I think that we'll see as this shakes out and see what's going down. But I think that the DCC is doing a really poor job at handling these recalls. I think that the labs who are not following the letter of the law, because you guys are the last stop in whether things are safe for human consumption, which is the biggest issue. The inflated test results, yeah, that sucks. That's a marketing thing. That sucks. But if you're allowing products to go through that are unfit for human consumption, that were combusting, which adds on another layer, then shame on you, and you should all have your licenses pulled. There's no other chance for that. If this is what you're willing to do to make money, and we all know who they are, if you're allowed to mail in your compliance testing, that's not following the track and trace requirements. Why? Because if I go in there and I say I've taken 10 pounds of this 20-pound batch and I've pulled it from, my grow in the backyard, I'm going to send you samples from the ones that came from the regulated grow that I know are clean. But then I'm going to put that same batch ID on everything, and I'm going to slap this clean test result out. I'm going to send whatever out into the market. And the lab that did that knows what I'm talking about. But I digress. This is something that we're going to continue to see until the DCC actually pulls these licenses, because you guys shouldn't be operating in a place of public safety.
And I'm gonna push back a little bit on what you said, Jenny, because they definitely need to be outing an elected official if they're saying that an elected official owns this license. I mean, they are an elected official.
And I'm sure that they will be, Jason, but I don't think that the guy who wrote the article has to be the one to do it. I think this needs to come down because he is a partner in a licensed facility. I'm sure that'll come out.
The state's not going to do it, because they haven't done
They're
anything
going to have
about
to,
it yet.
Jason. They're going to have to. They're going to have to.
No, they don't. They haven't been doing anything about it already.
This points out two problems with bureaucracies. One of them, that they are slow as molasses in January at doing shit. And if you go outside their little preferred circle of control, they're gonna shit can you. This lady went to the DOJ because inside Nicole was not doing shit about this. Is going out in the marketplace, complaints were coming in, you're getting nothing inside the agency, so she goes outside and all of a sudden you're persona non grata. It's one of the problems with the bureaucratic state we have. They're slow as hell and they protect their own rather than the public.
Mm-hmm.
And by elected official, like my dad was technically elected official. He was the electrical inspector for the county. So you know what I mean?
The electrical inspector is not an elected position. You don't vote for your electrical inspector. That's an appointee position.
Yeah, you do in a lot of Jason, not in a lot of counties and municipalities.
That's ridiculous.
My dad ran for it,
That's
Jason.
ridiculous.
Stop. Well, it's ridiculous that you're arguing with somebody who was a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Jason.
Yeah.
Once again, baseless
show me
arguments from Jason Beck.
Show me a ballot somewhere that you vote for your
Baseless arguments from Jason Beck. There you go. I'll find you one. Go ahead. Move on.
Please do. Please do.
Yes.
I'm waiting.
I like that.
I'm still waiting.
Thursday spice.
Just so we're saying, what I'm saying?
It just gets old, Jason.
Dale, any other thoughts on this, Dale, before we move on?
It's the bureaucratic state is one of the big problems we face in this country, and this is just an example of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, I'm not surprised at all by the lab shopping and this and that. Like that's everybody knows that that's going on. But the fentanyl allegations, that to me is just total baseless.
Right.
I don't even know why they even put that in this article, because to me it takes away from the credibility of the article by having it in there in the first place.
There's probably some cops put it in there.
Oh, that would be hilarious, bro. Oh man, on their on time while they're behind the desk, just DCC.
Kind of like eating cats in Ohio. You know?
Right.
Oh, that's real. That's just happening out there. There's people.
Electrical inspectors are appointed in some cases, while in others they are elected.
What you got to say about that, Jason?
Nothing, because he's fucking wrong again.
Just
because he got spanked.
Just because Jenny's pulling something.
Because he got spanked.
Just because Jenny's pulling something off of Google doesn't mean it's real.
My daddy, Jason.
I said, show me. I
I
said, show me a ballot where someone actually votes for an electrical inspector, because I've never seen that or heard of that in my life. And until I see it,
just clicking R. You're just clicking R. You're not paying attention.
Yeah, there's plenty of things you're not gonna see in your whole life, Jason.
You'd be surprised at the things I've seen in my day, Rico.